So the topic for today is basically something I think I can relate to. Everybody should relate to, which is how content marketing is building my niche. So I'm bringing my storytelling down to you. There's one thing I think everybody should be aware of. Everybody, we as individuals, are content creators. Regardless of you thinking probably you have to be technical, or you think probably you have to know a lot before you start making content. That is like a lie, all right? With the kind of information you put out there, your statuses, your WhatsApp status is a form of content, all right? You don't necessarily need to be very big. You don't necessarily need to be very, very large, all right, for you to actually be a content creator, all right? Every single thing, you talking on a space, me talking currently now, my voice notes is basically content. Now, what make it very, 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 what I call the content marketing, it's when I am very intentional about it. So all those statuses that we make, voice notes that we make, things that have to be informative, educative, entertaining, all these things, probably we aren't, all right? We aren't probably intentional about it. But when it becomes intentional, we start calling, okay, fine, this is content marketing. So I'll tell you my story from LinkedIn, all right? I'm a lover of blockchain. You could obviously see from my voice and probably from how I talk and intentional I talk about blockchain, right? If you bring me to talk about some other things, I might not actually talk about it the way I do, all right, currently. But that's how I talk when I talk about something I love so. Now, so I'll tell you from my story from LinkedIn. So I started LinkedIn, I think, let's say 4 months ago. Yeah, I made a challenge with 4 people. I'll not call their name, I'll not drag them because they're in this call. I told them, okay, guys, let's start on LinkedIn, all right? Let's start something for LinkedIn. At least a year. Let's see what we will turn into, all right? Let's see how we are going to like click up, because my plan for LinkedIn is to become not just a content creator there, but to become a top voice. That was my intention. That was my goal. And the goal is still outstretching. So 4 of us started. Some of us started and we didn't even see past 1 week. Some of us started, we did not see past 2 weeks. Some of us started and we came on and off. But I was so certain for what I wanted. And I started creating content. And one thing that I saw was people don't care about how well you know, all right, what you know. What they are interested is how well you are able to put it out there. All right. So let's say you bring in, let's say me, Mary Jane, or you bring let's say you bring Elon Musk. All right. Elon Musk might not be the only intelligent innovator. What makes him different is because he puts himself out there. He has the factor of visibility. All right. And now we are in the days of attention seeking days. Like current, like this generation, you have to gain attention before you are known. You have to have attention. You have to have that community, all right, before you make it. Like you have to actually have that factor of community, and that community gives you visibility. No matter how much you are, no matter how much you know, no matter how much knowledge you think you are, no matter how much good you are, people don't actually know you until you show them that you know. So most times, I always say, perception is more real than reality. Like perception is more real than reality. Just like, let me use FTX. Now, nobody could ever think that FTX was ever in debt since 2021. All right? Nobody would ever think that FTX was in debt since 2021. Probably 2022, that's why they just casted everything. They start finding out that there has been a chain of order. We start finding out that he has been sending money to his parents to buy houses in Bahamas. We have been seeing that he has been in debt since 2021. Like a lot of stories that start coming up because he was able to cover it up. Remember, from 2021 down to 2022, he has been buying
Mary Jane,
stadiums.
to Iron Lady. Yeah, some of the students said are saying you're a little bit fast for them.
Okay, sorry. So I think I'm talking one. So I was saying that there's this popular favorite quote of mine, which is perception is more real than reality. Fake it till you make it. But at this point, you make sure you are actually faking it in a way that you are walking towards your reality. All right, so I was using the story of FTX to paint a story for us, which is FTX has been in debt since 2021, but people trusted them and there was no rumor to counter them out 2021. So it was when the rumors started coming out 2022 that everybody now started checking, and we now saw that there were a lot of people that wanted to withdraw, and they found out that FTS was illiquid. All right. Now the thing is, it goes a long way to say that your online visibility, your online perception is more real than reality. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about how real you are, and that's why fake life cashes out more than real life. We are in the days that nobody cares whether you are truly what you are. What you need to do is to be able to sell yourself perfectly well. Now, nobody cares, all right? I said it on LinkedIn. I said, okay, fine. Mary Jane, I saw a lot of people writing, all right? They're writing what is blockchain, what is crypto. Nobody cares about what blockchain is. There are a lot of content about what is cryptocurrency. There are a lot of content about what is blockchain. There are a lot of content, just like there are a lot of videos, all right, explaining what crypto is in the basic terms. But what makes you different? What makes people want to know your content? What makes people want to say, okay, when Mary Jane posts, I want to read her post. When David posts, I want to read her post. Is the way she writes it. So I went into storytelling. I started provoking people. All right. And what I did was that I started looking for problems in crypto space. How people just host programs, and they call it the biggest crypto program in Lagos. And we come and we are seeing up to 500 sitters for a biggest or largest event. So I started talking about things that triggered people. And I saw people literally interacting with my posts. Nobody cares about what cryptocurrency is anymore. What people care is your story in it. How you are able to put yourself in it. Nobody cares. Cryptocurrency is what they call it is a blockchain, is a digital recording system. How well can you be able to relate it with yourself with story? See, our attention span is getting little, and people will prefer something grasping, something storytelling than something technical. Just like, for example, now let me give you a story. Which story will sell better to you? With this headline, Mary Jane, all right. Mary Jane came out. Who is that? Mary Jane came out third. All right, let's start. Mary Jane came out third. Or let's say Mary Jane came out 20th in a let's call it in a essay competition. That is one headline. And in the next headline, you see Mary Jane came out on the top 20th in a competition that had the likes of the children of Barack Obama, the likes of the children of Donald Trump. Which one will make you read it more? The one that I told with a perfect storyline. People are employed with emotions. The same way, the reason why Apple, the reason why Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana, Louis Vuitton are still in business, it's not because they are selling clothes. They are selling emotions. They are selling stories. All right. If you want to be rich, buy iPhone. You don't need to talk. People will feel that you are rich. If you want to obviously feel you are big, you don't need to talk too much. What you just need to do is buy roll punch. People. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, Mary Jane. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So now people don't sell a particular product. People sell their emotions. People don't read what they need. All right? They read what they want. So you have to be smart enough to understand what they want. Now, I want to obviously tell them that I am a top voice in my niche. I cannot come out and tell them what is cryptocurrency. There are a lot of people that have been there before me. And for the fact that they have been there before me does not mean I don't have a spot to show myself. It necessarily means I have to go back, look at what these people have been doing. And for me to actually step up my game to be a top voice in my space, I have to do something different that people can notice. I began to do storytelling. And this was basically what I started doing. Now, when I talk about security, what I'll do is I start relating it to our piggy vest, our piggy bank. When I start talking about cryptocurrency, I start talking about cryptocurrency adoption. I start talking about being able to pay your Okada driver, all right, with cryptocurrency, being able to go to Mama Put and sell what they call it, and sell and buy food and be able to pay with cryptocurrency. Now, these are kind of story that we don't hear often. Now, that will trigger people to interact. There's a particular post I wrote on LinkedIn, and I think I had like 300 interactions. Reason being that I did not write what is cryptocurrency adoption. What I did was I wrote down a story that not everybody writes. And now, people want to contribute. People want to say their thoughts. People want to be part of the story. They want to show that they know. And one thing you need to understand about human psychology is humans want to be seen as decision makers. So whenever they see something that trigger them to talk, they will talk. They will sharp put their opinion. Let it be said that they know. But when you start making it technical, not everybody understands crypto in the technical terms. And if you want to obviously get there or want to be a top voice in your niche, you have to start little, small, but be strategic about it. So I keep on saying perception is more real than reality in this digital age. Nobody cares if your father is a farmer anymore, but you can use that story to write yourself up. All right, my father is a farmer, all right, and you write a story of how blockchain can help agriculture. And someone can pick up that story and say, I love how you explain blockchain using agriculture and using your story because your father is a farmer, and you get jobs. Now, coming down to how this way content marketing has really helped me as a person. Now, there's this particular tweet I think I made on LinkedIn. And a guy called me and said, Mary Jane Alpha, I think I'll not call on the company. I think it's one of the biggest companies in Africa now. They are everywhere, right? They are basically everywhere. So in my third month, I think in my second month on LinkedIn, I made a video for them, like 2 videos. And this video, I did not just make it as gas. I made it with people. Like I made it with people telling me about inflation, all right? And it's I talked about pillow, right? I went on the streets, told people to tell me how inflation has helped them, as really affected them as students, and why they should be able to save in dollars. And I made a videography for them. And guess what? Their CEO reached out to me. Like, their CEO reached out to me and asked me if I was open for an open job. And I told them for a full-time job. I asked them what the responsibility was. I asked them what was the pay. And we talked about it. The reason why I did not take the job, the reason why I am not with the job is another different story. But the thing is, I got their attention not because I was doing a normal video. I went up to the streets. I started asking people, how has inflation helped them? How has inflation affected them? Right? How have they really, how will cryptocurrency help them if they start saving USDT? And I linked up the story with what they are actually doing at that particular company. So I met up with the company again, and I am Mara. And after 2 months of them not reaching out to me after I did a video for them, they reached out to me again and told me they wanted to be a content, I think a proofreader on contract 4 months. And they did not do any interview for me because they have seen the way I write. They found out that I understand, not just understand, but I believe it's one thing understanding, it's one thing explaining. If you don't understand something, you cannot explain it. Explanation comes from a place of you understanding what you are explaining. So if you tell me that to understand something, you should be able to explain it in the very minimal term without you saying you cannot explain it. If you cannot explain it, then you don't understand it, right? So it's time for us to start talking about storytelling. Human beings are moved with emotions. That's why FTS before, because he came out as an autistic patient. He came out as somebody that was giving out. Human beings are moved with emotions. Apple does not sell gadgets. They sell luxury. And they understand that people could kill, people could die because they want to have luxury. And not everybody can be on that first class. So the thing you have to start understand, you have to start looking your content, you as yourself, you as a brand, not just you coming and saying things the way they are. Spice it up with stories. And it will shock you how many connections, how many stories, how many working attitude you will get just by you spicing up things. Now, okay, so can you hear me now? I think it's almost time. I think it's almost time. So
now, but you were cut off for quite a while, about a minute plus.
Okay, so now people don't care anymore, or you're like just like the most followed person on TikTok. Do you think if he came out and started talking, or probably start talking things that people know, people will love him? Do you think Andrew Tate would have been popular in less than 2 weeks? Andrew Tate has been there for a very long time, but he started becoming TikTok sensation because he was saying things that were contradicting. Kanye West started becoming popular more than the Kim Kardashians because he started doing things differently. He started doing things. He started becoming the opposite of people. All right. He started becoming contradicting. Now I'm not saying you should be contradicting, but do something different. All right. Do something storytelling. Do something that people can relate. Do you get? Now if you go through my LinkedIn account, they never born a small child to tell me say you go read that thing. You don't understand. Because I don't just come out and tell you multi-sig wallet, social and cryptography. I try much as well to use normal things that we can understand. And because normal people can understand, people understand. People like, okay, there's this thing I think I told my friend, which is our attention span for this age is getting low. And if for the first 2 minutes you are telling me something technical, I would leave you. Like you are telling me Mary Jane and John, I will leave you. But if in the first 2 minutes you're telling me stories I can relate to, I will stay. And you have to start using that to your brand identity. You have to start using that to your perception. Now you begin to see Samsung shading Apple. Now, if Samsung comes out and keep on making advert of how good their camera is, how good, it will not go well. But because they understand that people love Apple, all right, they begin to use that particular structure that Apple has and start using subtle shades to get their market. And now we see that that marketing strategy works for them. Because if they all by themselves come to one and be like, they have camera, even though Samsung has good camera, people will still buy iPhone. No matter, we will still buy iPhone. But Samsung understands that people, all right, majority of their customers, because obviously their phones are really expensive, and at least a very a good Android that at least affordable. So they begin to start doing marketing, like say counter marketing to get people's attention. They will not call the brand, but we all know the brand that they are shading. All right, and I think it's time. It's 7:42, so let me just be rounding up. So down to the last word I would say, perception in this time and generation is more real than reality, and you are the one that writes your perception. The way people see you is the way you put yourself out there. All right, people had that feeling for Sam Bankman-Fried because he was ill. He has an health issue of being autistic. All right, people saw him as a cheerful giver, and nobody, that kind of thing, that kind of image will never make you think that he would ever fraud somebody. So what he did was that he used the power of perception to hide his reality. So perception in this time and age is more real than reality. So begin to write that perception. Begin to write the way people should see you. Unless you will not get that attention, you will not get that visibility, and you will not go anywhere. So yeah, that's that. I feel I should be able that I would have been able to like drive home the point, and we have learned one or two about a lot of things. Yeah.